Hello and welcome to the Be United podcast. Colleen Macauley is the owner of Colleens Culture Lounge Salon. Having lived in Scotland for 18 years, she has seen the transformation of the hair and beauty industry. She's also a gospel singer who is active in the community with an outreach called Daughters Ministry. Culture Lounge Salon is situated on 40 Great Junction Street, Leith. And you can find the salon's page on Facebook. Stay connected. It's time to unite. So Colleen, super amped to have you on the podcast show today. I'm really glad that you're here. The show Real Conversation was really enlightening, and just to know what you're doing in the Edinburgh space, in the hair industry.
Yeah.
So really glad to have you back again.
Yes, I'm really happy to be here too. It was a good conversation.
Yeah,
I had a good
really
time.
fun.
I had a good time. Yeah.
It was
really good. It was really good. Yeah. Just
It
seeing
was-
everyone and the conversations that we had. It's kind of like a flashback of your life and places that you've been, where you've walked in life to what you are now. And you never sometimes take notice of those things until when you're asked a question and like, wow, is that how far I've come? Yeah.
Totally. And it's also nice to just like talk about your life and, like you said, to remind yourself like, yeah, I did that.
I know, because you don't do that every day. You always hear it from other people saying it, but you don't get to say what you do and things like that. So it was good. Yeah,
Absolutely. So one of the questions that we didn't really get around to asking is, when did you actually open your hairdresser Culture Lounge?
Culture Lounge, right. So that was me moving from London, coming to Scotland. That was the year, most likely, I think I came down here for 2015, 2014 there. And that was when, it wasn't about salon at the first instant when I got here. I started working at Peacocks. It was a funny thing. I had that job just one day before opening day of Peacocks in Edinburgh. And I started there and I just did a month. And then I was doing here, I was working, I've introduced myself to a few friends that I got and was working from home. And then I thought, space-wise and everything, I actually need to look for a place where I would actually have a hairdressing salon. So Easter Road was one place that we were just, normally I walk through there and everything, and then I saw availability of shops and things like that. So I phoned up, I gave my notice to my job that I was leaving. And then I could remember they paid me for the next month, 1 month salary. I wasn't expecting that, but that came handy. And I put that into trying to do the decoration of the shop. It was small, decoration of the shop and everything. It was going so well. So that was 2015 when I had that. And I opened up and that was it. There were lots of challenges, obviously, because I didn't know nothing much about business and all that. I had to get involved with Business Gateway and things like that for me to know more what it means to have a business and all that. Yeah, so the experience was really good at the time, but coming here and starting the hairdressing obviously was a bit of challenging. It was a bit challenging, like I said, when we're having the show reel. Most of the clients that I had to deal with natural hair. And it was tough going. It was strange for me moving down from London to here. Everybody seemed to have natural hair within our African community. And that was a shock for us because back then, it's the chemical, it's the extensions, the makeup, nails. It was really big in London, but it wasn't the case here. Here it was more about work, and so people didn't have much time. There wasn't much about going out clubbing and things like that at the time. So my first clients that I had, obviously it was difficult. I had lots of broken tools. My hair dryers went out because you have to use so much heat to prep the hair.
Yes.
And then the combs that we use on our blow dryers, because with our hair we use blow dryers which have extensions of combing them to soften up our hair. They were just breaking. My tools were just breaking. And I was a bit upset because I was like, oh my God, what is happening? everybody seemed to have the natural look, and why have not people been doing their hair? But then also I realized that there were a few salons, hairdressing salons, that were around at the time, and obviously, and price ranges were quite high as well. So you didn't have much people doing the hair. They just kind of have a parted afro, and that was it. So once that was my breakthrough, I would say. Once they get to know me, I started styling hair and all that, and I started doing short looks with extensions because it was easy to manage. It's just there, like we call it the 27 pieces. It comes in a short call and things like that. And yeah, that's what brought me to the limelight, if I would say, as a hairdresser in Edinburgh. And then the word went around, everybody, have you heard there is a new hairdresser and this and that and stuff like that. So it started out there, and then coming into the salon, it was quite busy, really. It got really busy. I would do about 10 people per day, and it was just me. And sometimes when I look over at my diaries that I've had in past years, and I looked at myself and I said, how was I working like this? Having 15 clients per day, and it was just me. And then I have got 2 kids. I had to go and pick them up, say go in the morning, and then pick the other one. Oh, that was really awful for me. The system of the education system in the way it worked, because back in London, you drop off and you have a choice to, afternoon and pick both kids up. But then here you pick one up, and by the time you go home, you had to go out again and pick the other thing. But then it was a good thing with my industry, and that's where I learned how to work pretty fast and how to gauge my working times. And so when I started braiding, I know where I should be for 12 o'clock. I know where I should be for 2 o'clock. And I know by 3 hours I should have finished, because I need to pick my kids up and I need to get them. So it was a bit of challenging with having them and also the salon, but because I worked in the Leith area and their schooling was also in the Leith area, and then I lived in the Leith area, which is really why I don't want to move from the Leith area. It's an exciting place. Yeah. It's a lively place, in spite of everything, but it's a lively place. And I think I like the community. People are friendly, and so they would just play in the park, and I would just do my work, and then I would come out like, the Scottish tradition, I would say, shout out, Jason, Jesse, that sort of things. I just worked my way in there and then grab my kids, and then it's home. So so starting all this was good. There were tough times, but yeah.
Right. And when you started out, were you just working for yourself, or did you have help?
I was working for myself.
Okay.
I started out working.
So you really had to juggle a lot, like being a mom and having this career.
Yes.
Wow.
I had to juggle a lot then. But the only help I had, because my mom was there. My mom was here. She moved to Scotland before me. So at least she was able to take care of my kids and help me in that area. And then I don't have to rush home and cook food and things like that, so she does all those things. So that was much more help on that side. And then as it begins to get really busy, I started getting people who were moving into Scotland and would know how to plait hair, would know how to deal with our African hair. So everybody would just send them, just go to Colleen, just go to Colleen. By then, the salon was not called Cultureland. It was called Rapid Hairdressing Salon.
Okay.
So things were walking around its name. Things were developing quite rapidly, And so, it grew. And now, the change came for Culture Lounge. I think when I moved from Easter Road, I moved to few premises. Yeah. And so then it became Culture Lounge, I think, when I moved into Great Junction Street. Yeah. Because I just thought, the community was really good. The people that were having, the conversations that were going around, and it became a salon with a signposting tag attached to it. Because if you want to go to club, all the leaflets were there. If you want to do anything, you're looking for housing, you're looking for this, all these things were in the salon where you can get information. And so it became a signposting place. And then even if you want to meet up, you want to hook up, you meet friends and things like that.
Yes.
That I remember a day I was saying to some of the people when they'll meet their friend, I'm like, okay, here we go. What my fee? You just met in my salon.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking a fee from you, And these are like, I think I should start a dating agency actually.
Right.
So it was an exciting place. And I just thought culture lounge. Well, it's all about culture in here. I can see now, and I can see it's a relaxing place. Everybody come to the salon and people say, oh my God, every time I come here, I don't want to leave because of the chatting and the conversations. Nice. It was a warm place. Yeah. So we all felt like we're just one big family from different nations, but we all meet here and we all just have a good time.
That's so nice. Yeah. Especially if you're coming to Edinburgh and you're not from the UK and you just want to go somewhere where you know that you belong. Yeah. You know, so that's really cool that Culture Lounge is that. It's like a hub where people feel.
That is it. That's the word. It felt like a hub. And that's why I just put the lounge there and say, well, Culture Lounge, we're dealing with cultural issues and things, different things, you know, and so it just felt a relaxed place. Yeah.
So you grew up in Sierra Leone.
Yes, I did.
And so there's a saying called yangana pain, right?
Yes, yangana pain. And I'm thinking, where did she get that from? Where did you learn that word from? Yangana pain. You know, it got my ears, yangana pain, yes.
Yeah, well, growing up in Cape Town, South Africa, there was a similar phrase, like, what is it called? You must suffer for beauty.
Ah, okay.
Right, so
that's the English word of yangana.
Yeah, exactly. So I would go to hairdressers when I was a child and spend hours at the hairdresser, mainly because you didn't work on appointments. You came in and when the person could see you, that's when you'd have your hair done. Yeah. But I went through the relaxers and the burning of my scalp. Oh my goodness. And the hours under the hairdryer. I hated that part so much.
Everybody still do. You just sit on end with these big collars on your hair that would take, and if you've got a very long, your hair is quite long, then that you were there for hours. Yeah. They'll just put you there and forget about you, really.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
And start another client. Do 2-3 before they even get to you.
Yes,
nobody's checking if your hair is dry or is it ready. No, it's just like,
oh my goodness, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what you're saying. They put you there and they're like, okay, cool, stay there, let me just do these 3 clients before I get to you. So I totally resonated with yangana pain because yes, I went through that as a child.
I know.
So talk to me about what is it like growing up in Sierra Leone and, you know, with hair and the politics around natural hair.
Yeah, politics around natural hair. For in the educational system, your hair has to be plaited. It's a national thing in our schools. Your hair is expected to be plaited when you go to school. So on the weekends, it's normally Saturday, Sunday, it's hair day. You get to wash your hair, you get to do your hair on Sunday, and you prepare for school. So we expect where our hair is supposed to be plaited, but it was much more so strict in secondary schools than primary schools. Because my primary schools, you had the choice of you want to plait your hair. It wasn't so strict as it was. So I mean, and as a country, we did lots of plaiting. We did lots of, you know, styles like that. And the relaxer and the chemicals came after a while. That was after my school days. Then the introduction of that. Then we had this, we had a local relaxer, which we call a shampoo. You have the market women will sell it. It's all foamy like this. And then you put it on your hair and it will straighten your hair out. Really straighten your hair out, but it would burn your head so bad because it's like dealing with a raw substance. Right. And then as for color, the old women always color the hair, especially for elderly people. They always color the hair. We had this thing which were, it's color dye. They come in the form of a stones. I don't know, like when you look at the incense, those ones that come in little pebbles and things like that. Right. They'll put it on a cup, put it over the fire, and then the heat would melt it out. When you look at it, it looks like granite. It will melt it out and then you would just put it on your hair. But oh my goodness, if it touched your skin, it's almost like you've had henna on your hand. It wouldn't go away for almost a month. Okay. So you can imagine putting that on your head and then you're having all around your hairline, all black, your ears, if you don't mind, your ears are all black. So everybody would know that you've colored your hair. Your scalp would basically be dark. So obviously, growing up, we would avoid things like that. Because you go to school, everybody like, why are you coloring your hair and things like that. So plaiting was really a tough thing because you get to sit between somebody's legs, and
Yes.
you put your head there, and they just plait you. And if you move, you just get a little knock on the head, like stay still here,
little tug on your
and
head.
everything.
Yeah.
And you come out, your eyes are like that, because your hair has literally been pulled. It got to a
Right.
stage wherein when I went, that was for me for first year, second year. When I went to third year, I chose the person who was doing my hair by then.
Right.
I chose, there were these twins, they know how to really do hair. And I would go to them and I would make sure I put my extra money because I wanted them to do my hair. And then I get plaited there. So when I finished school, I wasn't much so thinking about the hairdressing and things like that. I was just a natural girl, just doing my own things and stuff. I was a receptionist at the chemist, or a sales girl at the
Okay.
chemist. And then I left that, but then we had, I had a cousin who was married to a lady who was a hairdresser. So we had a salon in the house. And then they'll call us, come and help us hold the chemical, come and do this, sort the rollers out. You know, we just go in there and then we get little petty cash and things like that. But it was never in my mind to say that one day I will be doing this, because growing up as a child as well, I was quite sickly. So I was thinking, I can't stand, I can't do this, I can, you know, that sort of thing. But then I got over it, and it didn't even start back in Africa, because I wasn't doing hair, but I was doing my own hair. I would take the keys, go into the salon, put extensions at the back of my hair so that my hair looks longer,
Right.
you know, and do little things like that. I knew what to do when it comes to I remember coloring. Every color that is left when people just color their hair, I would just put it on my hair, whether it's pink, whether it's yellow, and so my hair was all in different shades. So I think I had by that time grew a yearning towards that industry, because I was doing things on my own hair, so which was saying to me that I like doing hair, you know, even if it's personally, you know. So when I moved back to London, I was going for nursing, and then changed my mind. I went to the hairdressing industry, and that's how it all started. So here in Sierra Leone became a very big industry, very big, with extensions and chemicals introduction. Everything just changed, and now we can see that everybody is kind of reverting back
Yes.
to the day where we don't use chemicals.
Yes.
And things like that. It's
Right.
funny how, you know, things just change. The fashion industry, everything just changed back into what we originally was at.
You mentioned how you have become an agony aunt.
That was in relation to Mwamba. There was something that I was explaining, that there was this guy from Waverley that would normally come to the salon, and he would see how I would talk to the clients, because they always say hairdressers are kind of counselors because they hear everything, and how I would relate to my clients and things like that. And he said, you know what, we need to do something for our community. People come here and they tell you things and that, so you get to know what's happening in their life and if they need help. So we got to put something together. So we came out with this team, a charity group called Mwamba. Yeah, we got the name from, I put the name in, like working together,
Right.
you know, and we started it back in the years, and we had some listening service, some training. We actually a listening service registered with the Scottish Council as well. So we've just had our charity registration now. So we normally do signposting and things like that. So that's where it all started, and that's where I got the agony aunt. And when the paper came out and they were the evening news, I saw it says agony aunt with my face and everything.
Oh, really?
You know, it is something that you put on social media to say, oh, everybody have a look at this, that. I hate it. I didn't post. I wasn't going to say anything about it because I'm like, agony aunt, really.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it was great fun having to do what we're doing. And today we still have this listening service, and we're working with the ethnic minority African group, and it's called Mwamba. We do signposting, and we talk about issues, and yeah, we do more things.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, we are a listening group, and we work, as I said, we work with the Scottish government.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That's so important.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I mean, we're just waiting for the lockdown. We all have our phones, and people would call us if they're having any issues relating housing, relating domestic violence, relating how to integrate, into the community if you've just moved over here. And yes, so the person heading it, it's a team of African ladies and some, Cubans and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So you're more than just a hairstylist.
Yes. More than that. You can say
very
that.
multifaceted person. And one of the other interesting things about you is that you are a singer. Okay. When you broke out in song, I was like, okay. Look at this talented lady.
Yeah. That's the spiritual side of Colleen. I am a Christian, and church is a great part of me. My Christianity is a greater part of me, to be honest. And so I do gospel singing. I'm a worship leader, and that part of me is quite big. And I know God is moving me in a direction wherein I'll be doing outreach and just speaking about the Lord Jesus Christ, because sometimes we just think he's just this baby in swaddling bands that we celebrate in Christmas.
On the 25th.
But he's bigger than that. He grew up and he had a ministry, and that side of things, I don't think the way people knew him as a baby with the wise men, most people don't know. That's all they know. They don't know beyond that part. And so some of us that have got our salvation have come to know more beyond that, want to share that gospel with everybody so that they would know that this Jesus that you see here, his love and his mercy is always there for everybody. We're going through so much at this time with the pandemic and everything that is happening, that you do need something that will give you that assurance that, you know what, I love you, I died for you, and I'm still here for you. Yeah, so I'm wanting to get more involved in that, in the open, rather just sitting behind closed doors.
Do you still have family in Sierra Leone, like cousins, friends?
Yes, I do have family. I've got aunts, I've got cousins, I've got few friends there. Yeah, and I'm hoping, to go visit. Hopefully at the end of the year with my family here. Yeah.
I would love to travel more of Africa. We were talking about this at the biscuit factory about how expensive it is to travel in Africa. And, it was, I was looking to go to, I think, Victoria Falls when I was still living in Cape Town. So I was looking at different packages and I was like, wow, it's actually cheaper to fly to Thailand than what it is to go to Victoria Falls. Like, it's just so expensive, which makes it very inaccessible for your average African person.
Yep. And if you've got family, then it's even more difficult if you want to go with your children and things like that. And I think for me, that is why maybe my kids have never been, because it's just been quite expensive to put things together and my kind of work and all that sort of thing. But having said that, now, I think I would be taking more holidays and things like that, even though I've had a lot of break during the lockdown and things, but it's not the same when you go somewhere than you're just staying where you are. Yeah. So it will be nice. Yeah. You see photos and you're just like, wow, I want to be there.
Yes, I was looking at pictures of Sierra Leone on like the coast. Nice. Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. My mom is actually traveling soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I envy her. She's like, "Aren't you gonna come?" I said, "Mom, how am I gonna come? I'm going back to work."
Right.
So yeah.
And what are some of the things that are, the features of Sierra Leone?
Well, we've got this big tree which we call the cotton tree. It's just at the center of Sierra Leone, of Freetown. Right. Because Freetown is the capital of Sierra Leone. Yeah. And that's where I was. So you have this big tree where all the birds and everything sits. And I remember, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago? I got social media. I saw on social media that it was burning down, but that must have been just part of it. Oh. So that tree for us is very important. You see all the people in the streets, people will sit and just hang around that area because it's just the center of attraction. And then on the left also of it, we have the National Museum, where you see all the artifacts of our country. You see all statues of all our chiefs and all the rulers that's been there. Okay. And everything you need to know about us being colonized by the British and all that sort of thing. And then other features, we have the beach. That is the biggest part, the tourist side of Sierra Leone, the hotels and everything. It is really, really good. And then we have the peninsula, which are like the islands where I come from. My parents or grandparents come from that place where you have islands and it's all surrounded by water. And I remember growing up, when we have a family holiday, all the kids will leave the city. My mom's got like 4 sisters and a brother. All the kids will all just go down there to her grandpa, and then we would enjoy ourselves. There are different kinds of waters. Honestly, it's amazing. There was just this stream or a river which is so hot, like a jacuzzi. It's all, the temperature is always hot. And then you have the lake, which is really, really cold. And then you have the sea itself, which is just there staring at you. So the whole day, we would spend time in the water like a fish. And we would just swim and we would have fruits. There were mango trees. You can just reach out and just grab a mango. And, you know, it was amazing. It was growing up.
Incredible.
It was really good. And those were when we have our school holidays. And so we come back before September, which when all of us go back to our different schools. And so we really had a good time. It was like an extended family. We grew up like an extended family because my grandma's house was the center where everybody meet. We dance, we fight, we play music, we do all sorts of things. And now everybody's grown up and half of us, we're all in the Lord, pastors. Everybody's doing their own things. I have my other cousin who's helping with craft and things from Canada, from where she is. I've got my other cousin back home who is a pastor, and I've got his sister who's also a pastor in the United States. I think we grew up in a house where we're a people person. Everybody in the street, my grandma would just grab you. If you don't have a house, if you don't have a room, if you don't have a food, you would come to the Granby household. That was my granny's name. Okay. And, you know, you would get something.
Yeah, so on the topic of food, I like talking about food.
You're getting everything out of me today.
Oh man, I love food because it's just more than it's more than eating. It's it's a cultural thing. And it's having conversations, and it's the process of making it is just really also therapeutic. I like cooking. Yeah, I really do.
Okay, you rarely have people say that.
Yeah,
especially young people.
And no, I prefer cooking my own food as opposed to eating out.
Oh, that's really good.
Because then I know what's going in it, and I know that it's.
You are one of them, the particular people of what I eat.
Yes, no, very, very much that. What's some of your favorite foods, perhaps from your country or from Scotland as well?
Well, the staple food in Sierra Leone would be rice and cassava and fufu.
What is cassava?
Cassava is made from cassava is a sort of, it's not a fruit, it's like a vegetable. It's kind of like, I don't know what to call it, if it's a vegetable or a pulp or something that we eat. You boil it and you eat it. It's almost like yam. That's what it is. It's from that sort of family, that grows. And it has leaves, and we eat quite, our sauces are made of leaves, potato leaves, cassava leaf. Cassava leaf is one of the, one of the foods that when you come into the country, you would want to eat. Yes, you would want to eat that. And so that's something everybody would like to have when you visit Sierra Leone, cassava leaf. We do have jollof rice as well. I think that comes across the border of West Africa.
Right, yeah.
Nigeria, I think you've heard about the link between the Ghanaian jollof rice and the Nigerian jollof rice. Yes. And they've left the Gambia, who are from the tribe called the Wolof. This food is called jollof, Right. And so everybody, according to their own recipes, cooked it differently. Okay. But it's really good.
Yes.
It is good. And when you go to Africa, that's something you would want to eat.
Right.
Jollof rice.
Because you have children and they haven't been to Sierra Leone, right?
No, my children haven't been, but it's just seeing the need out there. And that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart, and I just think, how am I gonna? I think I'm just gonna be an emotional wreck,
Right.
Because just thinking of it sometimes makes you want to cry, and I just thought it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard because you just want to give them everything. So for me, thinking about going, there's a lot of charity work I would like to do.
Yeah.
Just get loads of stuff. I know you can't save the world, but the fact that you're doing something, and Mwamba, we're also thinking about, doing something for one of the a charity that we want to support would be something coming from back home. Yeah.
I can see how it touches you and how it affects you. I mean, you're just thinking about it.
And because sometimes, like, my mom travels, and when she goes back to the islands and things like that, the people will say, you guys left us. And
that's a hard one to swallow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, you left us. All they knew were fishing, but it's like, and so what they did, even when you have your lands and things like that, they will sell them off. They will sell them off, and you would come back, and then you're gonna fight for that. They're like, when people came and they wanted it, you guys just forgot about us. And they were kids, they were growing up, we were not going to school. All they know is fishing.
Right.
And so that was deep,
Yeah, it's a difficult one because you want the best for your family, and if it means leaving the country, that's what you do.
Yeah, I suppose, that's what we do. And also because we didn't grow up here, but we were born here, and so my mom came back and obviously thought, I need to get my kids to do things different. And I think most of the times when I thought, if I grew up here, I probably would have gone into the music industry.
Yeah.
that's what I think. I think I probably would have gone into the music industry and all that sort of thing, because you have the support. You have the support for things like that. That is only just kicking off back in the day in Africa. Nigeria is big on that. And most of the countries are not. Sierra Leone is not big on that. We're only catching up with it. And maybe a few years back with our music. And I think the war brought, that expression out. And it came out in songs about the government, about what is happening. That's the way people could express themselves. And so it became a big thing in the music industry and gospel and all that sort of thing. And then we realized that, wow, we have such talented people in our country who sing in our own local language, but what they're saying is really weighty.
Right.
The lyrics of the songs are really weighty, and you can see that they're complaining. They're saying what is happening to us, that all they want is just our votes, and then they forget about us. So
maybe you always have to think like God always knew what was going to happen in your life, and you being in the UK has obviously benefited you in a lot of ways, and that gives you the tools to go back home and help your country.
When you find yourself in a place where things are working for you, you get to a stage at this point, it's time to give back.
Exactly.
It's time to give back.
Yeah.
And so that is what we want to do, even with Mwamba, helping give back here to the society, and also not forget where we're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I'm looking at your skin and I'm just like, oh my goodness, flawless. What is your skincare routine, or is that just genetics?
I think it's genetics.
Okay.
It's genetics. My grandma used to use this thing. It was a mask. But then growing up, I didn't know it was mask. It comes from it's almost like clay. It comes from the sea, from the rocks. It's a clay.
Right.
And it looks like, it's like a mask, because she would put water in it, like a stone. It looks like a chalk. And she would put water in it. And then you put it on your face, and it would just go rock hard. So every night my grandma used to do that. I used to take the rest and put on my skin. And my mom was doing that as well. So we're using, and apparently I think those are some of the ingredients that are in the mask and things today, with all these natural things that we see.
Yes.
And so that was my skin regime when I was going to school. I didn't know I was doing anything. All I just thought I was just playing around and putting that. So at the moment now, I just continue using my black soap. There's the African black soap.
Where can I find that?
Oh, I sell them, but I think I don't have any just now, because I think I've been using them over the lockdown. And selling to my sister as well. So the African black soap, but there are other stores in Great Junction Street that sell these things. There's one HA's something. It's just by my hairdressing salon. He has black soap, and you can get them in the African, local stores. They do sell black soap. So I use that as my washing regime for my face.
Right.
And then I just get anything from Superdrug just to use for my skincare.
Okay. Because my sister has been telling me about the African black soap. She's like, you have to use it. It's so good. But I'm like, I don't know where to get it from. Okay, so now I know.
Yeah.
That's grand. Well, thank you, Colleen, for coming on the show. It's been honestly just really lovely to speak with you and just to learn more about you for now.
I'm enjoying this conversation, actually.
Me too, absolutely. I can't wait to come have my hair done. At your salon.
Yes, that would be. And everybody else, please do.
Yes, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at 135 Great Junction Street, Edinburgh EH6 5JB.
Great.
I'm on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram, Colleens Culture Lounge.
Colleens Culture Lounge. You heard it here. Yes.
And if you want to do hair, we'll be starting a hair school. Hopefully, we stay unlocked by the lockdown, and then. So
any plans for YouTube channel?
YouTube channel. Well, if the hairdressing school doesn't take off, then I might think virtual.
Take it virtual.
Yeah, take it virtual. Because honestly, even if it's happening, it's going virtual for maybe 3 days a week, and then just do a class when you'd come in, just so we know you see your skills and all that. A hairdresser without being practical about it is not a hairdresser.
Right, exactly.
Hairdresser is more practical things than theory.
Absolutely. So excited to see what you have in store for us and your future plans, and really excited for what's going to happen for you. So thank you once again for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me to your show.
Thank you for listening to the Be United podcast. Find us on Instagram at BeUnitedWorld, and you can follow me, Inga Dale, at Spoken by Inga on Instagram. Be inspired, be connected, be united.